man, it's an honor to be on Cinema Royale, to be asked to be on such an esteemed show with such an esteemed host.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Tim. Welcome, everybody. This is Cinema Royale, and that is Tim Gordon. I'm sure you recognize the voice if you're listening to us on podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sure you recognize the face. How you doing, man? It's good. Long time no see.
Man, you know, bro, we all out here being mini moguls in our own right, doing cool film stuff. So, man, it's always good to reconnect with my brother, T Hop.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to have you on here to talk about Bob Marley, One Love, because you know more about the subject than I do, most likely. And the film was directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, stars Kingsley Ben Adir and Lashana Lynch. And it's not a birth to death biopic. It just takes up 2 years of his life, 1976, 1978. Basically, he's trying to pull off these two different concerts. And it's also about the creation of his album Exodus. I've been seeing a lot of people kind of hammering the film a little bit, which kind of surprised me because when I watched it, I quite enjoyed it. Now, largely for Kingsley's performance and Lashana Lynch, who I think is great in the role of his wife, Rita. I think she's fantastic. And maybe it's because I'm coming into it as sort of not a novice fan of Bob Marley, but more casual. So I look at it and I can see some of the complexities within the man, even if the script doesn't always go as deep as I would like it to. I rather enjoyed it and have been kind of surprised by the reaction to it, but I really don't know what your thoughts of it are. So what did you think of Bob Marley, One Love?
Well, I think it's interesting listening to you kind of talk about it, as you know, somebody who's really not a huge Marley fan, who sort of enjoyed the film for what it was, right? And I think a lot of people who don't like the film, or not, I'm not going to say don't like the film, but wanted it to be more than the sum of the parts that it is because of who the man is, right? So I remember, I know both of us had an opportunity to interview Ronaldo Marcus Green about this film. And I asked him point blank, I said, when you signed on to take this, to direct this film, was it already a screenplay, like kind of set, or was it a situation like, and after was it set and then you had to bring it to the family, or was the family involved heavily into making the film? And he said, of course, the family had their hands all in the film. And I think that's a part of a lot of the negative reaction that you're getting, right? Mm-hmm. Is because Bob Marley, if you listen to his music, it was, to me, was rebel music. He was a soul rebel, a natural mystic. He was a lot of different things, right? And the fact that Ronaldo Marcus Green and Terrence Winter, along with Zach Balin, kind of created this screenplay. The issue with it is, Travis, is that they don't give you enough of who the man actually is, right? And to your point, the film kind of opens right as he's being assaulted in Jamaica. And then it sort of ends with the making of Exodus and, his cancer diagnosis and blah, 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 right? There's not enough Bob in this film. And the Bob that's in this film is sort of a sanitized Bob and not the Bob that fans were really, really looking for in this story. And as I told Ronaldo, I said, man, I've waited all my life for a Bob Marley doc, and it's the only movie in my mind that I could ever have said that I would produce this movie. Cast Michael Ealy as Bob Marley. I had the shots in my mind of how it should play out, sort of like the Ray sort of kind of...
Michael Ealy, not Amari Hardwick?
No, man. I mean, Michael Ealy to me, would have been my Bob Marley. And I actually interviewed him and told him that, and he thought it was a great pitch and concept. I just had the studio money to produce it.
An actor says, you tell an actor, I think you'd be fantastic for this role of Bob Marley. And he's like, well, I agree. Of course he says that. What are you going to say?
Well, I'm just saying, so my point is that I'm bringing all this to the forefront as you clown me in your usual Travis way, to tell you that that's how much I think of the man. And, I know. And I actually even asked Ronaldo, I said, I think his story spans from like the early 70s, right? Or maybe 71, 72 to about 80. And he said they had that screenplay. It was like Malcolm X length. That thing was like 3.5 hours long,
Yeah.
and Paramount would not commit to that. So, having said all that, man, I think the music in the film is the film's secret sauce. It's the one thing that really connects the story, even if the story I don't feel is as strong. I think Kingsley Benadir is great. I think Lashana Lynch is great. I just wanted it to be more in the age where we always talk about movies being too long. This is one that's too short, and we needed more Bob. And I don't know, man. That's kind of what my take on it is. But I appreciate people like you who enjoy it for what it is. But for the people who are disenchanted, it's because they wanted more of Bob or a more deeper dive into this iconic reggae legend.
Right. And I think the movie does well as kind of an introduction, I guess. I mean, I kind of like the fact that this is a movie that takes place over a certain period of time rather than trying to do too much, because I think Bob Marley's story should probably be a series and not necessarily even a movie. Um, but I like, if you're going to tell a story about him, to focus on a certain period. I kind of like that if you're going to do that, because I think people who wouldn't normally go to see a really long 2.5 hour Bob Marley movie might go see a 100-minute Bob Marley movie. And indications early on are that it's doing pretty well. So I think maybe that's how it's going to pan out. And I think if the movie does prove to be a success, then there's a better chance of seeing the larger movie that you might want to see happen someday. But if the movie fails, then you might not see that at all. So I'm kind of happy with the way it presents things. Like I said earlier, I think it could have gone a bit deeper in some places. I like how we see a lot of the dichotomy within him. He's this guy who's got his own identity issues while he's trying to bring all these different groups together. There's a lot of ironies within him. He looks like a family man. He presents him as a family man, but he's also not faithful. He's got his wife taking care of kids from other women. So there's a lot of contradictions within him that the movie teases and suggests and glosses over in some cases. And I could have used them to go a little bit deeper into that to fully flesh out the man. But then I also realized as I was watching it that that's just clearly not the movie that they were trying to make.
Right. And then also you got to remember, man, that when I keep bringing up the aspect of his family, it's very important to know that with his 12 kids and his wife and all of these other various people, there's a certain way that they wanted Bob to be portrayed, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're not going to get the gritty, grimy Bob Marley when the story comes from his family, right?
I mean, the movie was introduced by Ziggy. I mean, but from that point on, you already knew the movie wasn't going to go that deep.
No, it's not going to go deep at all. Travis, you did make a good point that since the RZA and the Wu-Tang Clan did these 3 years on Hulu, you're right. Maybe a 3-season run of 10 episodes of Bob Marley, actually wouldn't even call it One Love, just call it Bob Marley. I believe that actually would work, because that would give you like these hours upon end, enough time to deep dive into these different aspects of the psyche of the man, and along with Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer and all of the other folks, Catch a Fire and Exodus.
I would love to see it. I would love to see like a couple episodes of the Wailing Wailers in that period of time in his life. That was a great flashback sequence of them in this movie. That was one of the best scenes in the film, of them cramming into that shady studio and pumping out the song, that was a great moment. And I was like, when it was over, I was like, I wish there was more of that.
Right.
More of that.
We all do. We all wish it was more of that. So, yeah, man. So, ultimately, you're right. I saw the numbers for Valentine's Day, and they came, and I think they made like 14, 15 million. So, if the film keeps up on that trajectory, we may see another film from Bob Marley. But yeah, so far, so good. It's off to a rousing start.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how this movie does. Just like it'll be interesting to see how the Michael Jackson movie does in a year or so when Antoine Fuqua makes that film. All these musical biopics made by the estates are interesting, But then again, the ones that are made by that without the estates help, you get Jimmy, Jimmy always by my side. So
Nina Simone, you get. I mean, there's some that are out there, bro. Woo.
I mean, it's an interesting trade-off though, right? Because it's like when the estate's involved, you might not get the warts and all version of the movie that you want, but without their support, you might get really bad movies.
Well, also the other part you got to remember is when you try to make a movie about one of these musicians without the estate, the music is gonna suck in that movie. So
Right.
So, and the one thing that worked, you're right. There is a trade-off, Travis. You either get the estate's cooperation where you get not a fully formed version of the person, a really sanitized version with great music, or you can have no music, something really gritty, but it just sounds horrible. Like
Oh man, it sucks that that's the way it has to be, but that's the way it is right now.
Michael Jackson movie without the help from the estate. So how you gonna do Beat It and Thriller and
right? I know. How are you gonna do that? It would be impossible to do a Michael Jackson movie without the estate's help.
Well, Ronaldo's pretty much said that had they not gotten the family's cooperation to do Marley, he said he wouldn't even signed on without the music. Like, can't do the movie without the music. So
yeah, I don't blame him. And he said that they really only had the use of the music from that 2-year period that they were using.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. I mean, that's all that was in the movie. I mean, that was the period they were covering. So I guess that's what they were allowed to use.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool, man. Well, there's a trade-off, man. I mean, it's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you get either or. You want this or you want that. What you want to do?
I think I'd rather have the estate be involved and just, we'll always find things to nitpick when it comes to those things, but I'd rather have that and have it be a decent movie than some of the junk, unofficial versions of movies that we've had. Like you said, the Nina Simone movie and the Jimi Hendrix movie are just awful films. So,
well, I'm not going to be critical. John Ridley made that movie, and he's got another movie coming up. So you should bring me back for that next movie.
I'm sure it'll be poorly directed. Anyway, Tim Gordon.
Travis said that. I didn't say that. Watch this.
Yeah. It might have a decent script though. Tim Gordon, president of the Black Reel Awards, founder of the Black Reel Awards, president of WAFCA. Anything you got going on at thefilmgordon.com, my friend?
Man, we got a hip hop series that's coming up that I can't get Travis to come out and check out a hip hop movie, but it's okay. It's hard out there for a film, Travis. March 8th. Come on out.
What's the next one? What's the next one you got coming?
Hustle and Flow, March the 8th.
Okay, March 8th. What is that? Saturday or Sunday? What is that?
Friday night.
Friday. Okay. I'm usually busy on Friday.
Travis out to moderate one of these. I mean, to come out and actually not even moderate, but just to be a guest.
Actually, I'll come. I don't want to moderate. I'll come.
You
know, where are they at? Oh, they're way out in Maryland, though, right?
I'm in Washington, D.C. at the National Hip Hop Museum, man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. I'll try to come to the one on March 8th. I'll do my best.
Hey, man, come on out, man.
I'll do my best. And you and I will be together soon for the Oscars, the Oscar night party.
March
10th. It is March 10th. It is March 10th, same weekend. So we'll be at the Arlington Cinema and Draft House for that. What is it, like year 10 or something? I don't know.
Yes, I'm tired of carrying you, man. You had to do your part this year.
Just have the trivia ready. It'll be fun.
That's what I'm saying. I want you. There's a little known fact that nobody knows that every year we alternate the trivia. So it's on Travis to come up with some good trivia since I did it last year.
I'll have some. We'll split the duties. We got no auction this year, so we're gonna have to have more questions and more.
We don't have anything to auction.
I mean, they don't really hold a lot of screenings, and they don't have a lot of things going on in town anymore.
I mean, this
is reality post COVID. This is reality.
Look, Travis, don't you have some gear or some stuff that was sent to you?
I'm gonna bring some stuff.
You bringing some stuff?
I got some stuff from this movie that I'm gonna bring.
Okay.
I got a lot of stuff from this movie. I'm gonna bring with me.
All right. Well,
I got some stuff I'll bring. Yeah, a few things.
and I like that, man. And in the spirit of that, man, I'm gonna see if I can and dig through some of the stuff I have and see if I have something to bring.
We got to give some stuff away because they don't want to just sit there and watch us talk for 5 hours. They only stick around because we give prizes away. So.
Oh, and by the way, we're starting an hour early this year, so we have to talk about our arrival time because the Oscar starts at 7 this year instead of 8.
Well, I mean, if that means we get home earlier, then fine.
Watch this. Maybe.
I know.
Because now that we have extra time, now we can produce a 5-hour Oscars instead of.
They might just add like 3 more musical numbers or something. Good God. Oh, man. Anyway, Tim Gordon, my friend, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Invite me on your show sometime when that other guy's not there. And
I'll be there the next 2 weeks, man. So you're gonna get a phone call anyway.
All right, man. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.